Hey guys, it's Mike Malave here, and I told you I was going to show you one of the coolest man caves that you've probably ever seen, or I've actually seen in person. I had to make it down a little bit South Florida here in Delray Beach. Right behind this door right here is the man cave. 2,900 square feet, one bathroom, loft area, 2 lifts, gives you a hint about what's inside, and just amazing artwork all around. Follow me guys on this really cool custom tour on this home. And you'll get to actually meet the owner of this man cave in a little bit at the end of the video. We're gonna go ahead and have a little sit down with him, kind of pick his brain a little bit on why he chose these and what's up about it. I'm gonna give you a full tour of this beauty right now. So right away, as soon as you come in, you obviously see the cars itself, but take a look at this artwork. These are also past cars that he has owned and really loved, to the point where he made some artwork with it, so he never really loses them. This is a personal garage at that. It is at a separate location, but this is all his personal cars. He drives these around on the road all the time. Yes, you're looking at what is a transformer. You guys know I am a pretty big guy at 6'2", but I'm about to size this transformer up for you. He's weighs a little bit more than I do. I'd say about another 2,100 pounds more than I do. Now you guys know I'm 6'2". This dude still towers above me. He's got to be like 7 feet tall or something like that. Made of full car parts. I'm talking about hundreds of car parts, guys. This is not a joke at all. And he has another buddy on the other side too, over there. We're gonna go say hello to him in a second. So on the way to his brother, as you'd call it, we gotta pass through a few other beasts. As you can see here, a few other 1,000 pounds of metal artwork you're passing by. If you don't know, that's a Ferrari Pista, pretty much one of one, color scheme, color layout. That is a Ford GT, which you guys have probably seen before. I've shown you many pictures of these in the past videos, but that one's fully custom. I think just under, 900 horsepower it pushes out. And we came over here to see the big boy. This guy, I think, is even bigger than his cousin. Didn't really want to see those. You want to see these custom babies. And I'll show you these in a second. I'll get to these in a second, but you guys see the rest of the place first, because there is a loft upstairs as well. I mean, like any other man cave, tons of tires. Let's take you upstairs really quick and show you the real view from up top. Boom. Boom to the top floor of the man cave. You've got arcade games, more artwork on the wall here, workout space, lounge area, air hockey area, and a lot of custom artwork. Look at this Batman piece right here. And a lot of you may know what this is. Marvel vs. Capcom. Original Marvel vs. Capcom game. Set up to have fun. Let's see. But really, see the beauties once you get up here. You really don't see these from this angle every day. Ultimately, looking at here, a one of one Aston Martin Vantage. Yes, that's a Rolls Royce. That is a Hermes interior Rolls Royce. Let me just show you. Interior, Hermes interior of that. Yes, that's your McLaren. It is a special edition blue GT3 RS above the McLaren. If you don't know about the SVJ, now you know. I'm gonna come over here, you get a better look of it. That SVJ is for sure one of one. Take a look at this. I'll show you some more shots of it in a little bit, but all the carbon bits you can think of. You can tell the color difference once you get up here. It is not a black, it is really more of a gray. There's that beautiful American classic Ford GT from above. Boom, boom. Look at those. So I'd say overall that's 2,900 square feet. I think up here you're looking at about 900 square feet alone. Beautiful working space, industrial feel. I love this type of feel. Let's go on down and see a few more of the details. Not only these cars pretty much one of ones or the highest level of what you can buy, you then customize them beyond that spec. So like for example here you're looking at this carbon fiber side mirror, carbon fiber top. This is a Roadster edition. So you guys may recognize this vehicle. This is one of the ones that I just put up in my office. If you follow my Instagram page as well, you'll see I just posted a new piece of art I got for myself personally on the wall. Custom wheel setup. Another Hermes interior. Let me see if I get a better shot from the boom. This is one of my faves, the Pista. This custom blue here. Again, all the carbon fiber tidbits you could think of. The hand painted logos. Even the stripe itself. Look at the detail here. Look at the lines, the curves. Boom. And again, the custom interiors you can see. Sweet. Hey guys. Alrighty, thanks BJ, appreciate you really giving us an opportunity to come out here and take a look at your man cave. Very sweet, but we want to know now a little bit more about the man behind the cave. So I have a couple questions I'm going to ask you. First thing is about alternative assets. I know you have a lot of these cars and watches that we have here in front of you. I'll open that up in a second too. But it's all kind of based off moving alternative assets instead of the normal people think. So BJ, what is an alternative asset?
So it's looking at tangible goods like watches, cars, art, and understanding. Even today, we can even look at playing cards, right? Like basketball playing cards and sneakers or anything else. Mm-hmm. These are things that in the past have basically been basically consumer used, right? Like people used cars to get from point A to point B. People, bought homes to live in them. People also looked at, art as a form of what they enjoyed on their wall. But I think there's an algorithm to all of these things, right? Like art dealers make money off of art, so they know what to pay and what to sell. So if a dealer acts and transacts in a good, then it means there is such a thing as a margin. And when there is such a thing as a margin, then there is such a thing as the more exclusive the asset is, the larger the margins become over time. And more importantly, the value of the asset still is there in the tangible good. So meaning like if you buy a watch, you still have a watch, no different than real estate. Where you buy a home, you have a home, meaning you live in something regardless of its value going up and down. And so, it's looking at kind of the consumer used goods over the years and seeing the ones that have the most track record of data going up and down and showing what their worths are to people. And basically, at some point, that asset becomes a vehicle for money. So as an example, there's a universal cost to this watch across the globe. And it's therefore a stronger asset than currency because currency fluctuates depending on which country you're in. However, the asset, based on the fact that it's in gold and its value is in the desirability regardless of what country you're in, has a similar number across the board. So if the value in one country's currency goes up, the value of that item in a weaker currency also goes up, meaning there's a huge inflation portion to it. These are what we call the stronger of the alternative assets to basically invest in, because unlike sneakers or things like that have much smaller value, and you really can't be worn because once you wear the sneakers they get damaged and they're good. A watch can be worn for quite some time without really showing any sign of damage if you're careful, and ultimately can be transferred between people as a vehicle of money, and that's why we call those alternative assets.
Nice. Wow. How long did it take you to kind of figure that out? I know you were in banking in the past. Maybe not everyone may know about that, but you used to be in banking in the past. How long did it kind of take you to realize that there's other ways of making money besides the norm?
So the alternative asset portion wasn't really something that I believed would make money, but rather when I was a regular 9 to 5 working guy, I kind of understood that money was limited, meaning I didn't have millions of dollars then, and I was just a normal guy, going to work, coming home, but I still liked nice stuff. And so one of the things that happened is I used to buy cars and I used to always lose money on cars. But I used to buy nice cars because I had a good job. So I would buy nice Benzes, AMGs, eventually getting into Porsches and stuff. And I realized that, like, wait, if I'm buying these cars from a dealer, why is the dealer transacting these deals with me? Well, because they're making money. So my thing was I could afford to make a monthly payment at the time, but I couldn't afford to lose the money. Meaning I didn't want to lose, let's say, $70,000 on a car because I paid $70,000. So I started thinking, am I really losing $70,000 when I buy a car? Or what am I losing? And so that gave birth to me trying to understand margins on goods, trying to understand how much does a dealer make. Because if a dealer made $10,000 on that sale, that means that if I turned around the next day and said, I don't want this car anymore, I wouldn't lose $70,000. I would lose $10,000. And I would gladly take the car back and sell it to someone else for $10,000 more. The point was that once you understood the data points and you understood the margins on some of these goods, you realized what I called exposure rates. So you realized that money wasn't about what you spent, but it was how it was allocated. So when you buy a home, right, you buy real estate. People watching this probably understand real estate better. So you buy a home, you pay $1 million. Well, you're not losing $1 million. You're just parking that $1 million, assuming that the value of the home is not going down. Now, historically, the value of the home is probably less right away than what you pay, partially because you have agent fees, you have disclosure fees, you have all these things that you pay, right? Like the cost of the business itself, which is, let's say, 5%, for example. So you have your 5% margin there. That's your instant loss if you need to get out of your house, right? Now, the part that real estate actually takes care of is that over time, real estate historically always goes up. So it will wipe that margin after a year. And if you've lived there 2-3 years, then you'll probably make a percentage on your money. And in many cases, you're not even using your money to purchase the asset. So it doesn't really matter. You're just basically making money off of someone else's money, right? And they're charging you a fee for that. They're charging you a rate too for that, right? So when you look at real estate and you go, how much am I spending and how much am I parking? You start looking at that and you go, okay, so even if I have a payment of like $20,000 a month for my house, right? The only portion I'm really losing here is the interest on that payment, right? I'm not really losing the principal because it's going towards the home, which is never going down. So as long as the asset isn't devaluing itself, meaning it's not depreciating, it's rather appreciating or standing over, you're no longer a consumer. You're basically either an investor because it's going up, or you've simply parked money. So what is the difference between parking $1 million in a house and $1 million in a savings account? Nothing, except liquidity. So if you want your money out of your house, you got to sell your house. If you want money out of your savings account, you write a check, right? This is where alternative assets change this, because liquidity in a watch could be as fast as 24 hours with no paper trail. Liquidity in a car could be as fast as 24 hours, but there would be a paper trail. Liquidity in a house will never be 24 hours. So even in the best of markets, it will never be 24 hours. And while liquidity in a house is also very good, inventory is scarce, and usually investments are heavier, meaning they're not just 100K. In majority of markets today, 400K to 600K to millions of dollars, depending on where you live and what you're buying. So not everyone can play in that game with their cash, but you could get into watches for as little as $3,000. You could get into cars for as little as $20,000, $30,000. So there's definitely a broader spectrum of how to play. But because, of course, it's not as established as real estate, conventional thinkers will typically say it's not as good of an investment because they simply don't understand the algorithm of how investments work in the space.
Nice, yeah. And kind of going along the same lines there, did you ever invest in real estate yourself in the past?
So my first $1 million ever was made buying lots. So I bought lots before developers would go there and basically want to build there, and I would sell those. Secondly, when those developers would go and start building, I would secure 4 to 5 allocations for some of the newer homes at a time in a market where there were no homes. By the time pre-construction was in to the time the units were at the stage of getting deposits on options, I had already sold my allocations basically for huge 40 to 70% returns. That's actually how I became a millionaire while having a banking job. So I wasn't even like a side, job or anything. It was just an investment and an understanding of basic economics of supply and demand. When you have something people want, I use the same strategy today. Every car I buy, every watch I buy, everything I touch is always something that you can't get easily somewhere else. And the point for that would be that if you really want it, you'll eventually pay for it. So my investment is a lot safer in the exclusivity of being the only one that can provide that particular good.
Nice. So cool. So it's pretty much just transferred the same thing from the idea of investment in properties down to cars, down to watches. Now, you seem pretty young yourself. 10 years ago, would you say you kind of saw what you're doing today with all the scarcity in the watches and cars and things like that?
So my background is in banking, but after banking, I started a company called VIP Motoring, which was an investment fund to allow people to invest in exotics, watches, and art. That was in 2005, so that was quite a long time ago.
Wow.
I left that business in 2011, still own it, but just left working in it to kind of head more of my online career full time. So I've been in this space for quite some time. A lot of people think I just came out into this space, a few years back with my platforms, Exotic Car Hacks and Watch Trading Academy. But truth be told, those platforms are only an extension of the years of kind of doing this, in person and for people, for myself, and for just a larger accumulation of wealth through our group that I decided to kind of give people a do-it-yourself at-home solution with these two platforms.
Nice. Okay, cool. So pretty much it seems like you've been doing this for a very long time, and it seems like you're successful at it. What does a successful day feel like for you? Do you get up at a certain time? Things like that. What do you do?
The less planned the days, the more successful it is. Meaning the less I have something on my schedule, the more accomplished I feel for my day, which means that I'm not behind, but I'm ahead. So I hate schedules, and I work very hard to actually prevent my team from scheduling me for things, usually except for one day a week where I kind of give them for whatever they need. The rest of my day basically goes, if I feel like doing it, I do it. If I don't feel like doing it, I don't do it. And that's kind of like how I found the best way to hold yourself accountable is to get to a place where you love what you do enough that you feel like doing it every day.
Nice. And taking it right from there, what inspires you? What kind of gives you that love to continue to keep going every day? Seems like you did so well. What are you pushing for? What's inspiring?
Progress. That's it. I know it sounds simple. Right?
Yeah, right?
The more I progress, the happier I am. My happiness is directly linked to progress. The more progress is made in our mission, in our business, in my personal life, then the more enjoyment I get out of living it and experiencing it.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate your time. Just to kind of wrap it up then, because my page is more about real estate. How would you compare alternative asset to real estate? Would you continue to do everything 50-50? Will you tell people to weigh more than the other? What's your final thought on that?
So everybody has to pick what they're good at and kind of go there. If you're committed to being in real estate, there's nothing wrong with that, and do real estate. But at some point comes a model where there isn't enough real estate based on your budget to go around, meaning either you have $1 million and you put $600,000 in a home, you don't have another $400K home to buy. Money sitting is money lost. So money has to flow. It has to basically be part of the system. Money that's sitting in your pocket is basically lost from the day it sits in your pocket to the day you take it out of your pocket. So a lot of times I tell people, learning alternative assets is a very strong way to balance out your portfolio. In addition to that, one other element of this that is so much more important than anything else is the fact that it's not just about balancing your portfolio. It's also about the fact that, for example, watches, right? These are watches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are enjoyed. Like, this is something you can enjoy. You can wear it. You can use it every day, just like your car. The cars you saw in my man cave. These are cars I drive every day, right? I get out, take the top down, enjoy my life, right? You can't do that with a house. You can't do that with 6 investment properties. And usually your investment properties are uglier than your main home. So you don't even want to go there for any reason, So usually I tell people, like, there's a beauty to life that most people get rich so they can buy watches and cars and have a good lifestyle. You can not only get rich doing whatever you do, but you can maintain that money in your pocket, meaning you can keep that money from standing still and yet still giving you the same enjoyment as having those things you've always wanted to work towards, and no longer look at them as a consumer, but rather look at them as an investor.
Man, that's a lot to think about. I really appreciate that, PJ. It's actually pretty cool to meet you in person too. I know you got stuff to do. I'm gonna let you go for now. I appreciate your time. So guys, I appreciate you watching once again. This is a beautiful art collection right here. Stay tuned for some more in-depth, different videos like this one here too. Not just the regular homes that you see or regular man caves, but pretty exquisite stuff like this. So next time guys, I'm Mike Malave. I'm out.